Welcome, staff, students and community partners. My name's Edel Randalls, in case you don't know me. I'm a lecturer in the South Campus in the Health and Leisure Department. And I'm also a member of the Campus Engage Steering Committee, which developed this fantastic website. Campus Engage is responsible for coordinating, promoting and supporting civic engagement and higher education all over the island of Ireland. We were part of a group of 7 higher education institutes that put together this fantastic database. NUIG, UL, UCC, DCU, Trinity, IT Tala and IT Tralee have developed this over the last year. Now, Campus Engage led the development. They brought together a team of people who were very keen to get one hit in terms of student volunteering nationally. And I know a number of you have registered down there, and I encourage the rest of you to do so. It's a really, really good functional tool. It has 2 functions to it. Number 1, in terms of the community organisations it serves, it allows our community partners to interact directly with us here in the college, with students, and also allows them to, from the comfort of home, put their volunteer needs up online to speak to you students in a language that you understand. Laptops instantaneously now. So literally they can access you and access all of the national institutes involved in this very, very instantaneously for support for things that are needed in the community. From a student perspective, it's very, very easy to register. As you found out, it takes about 10 seconds to register down there. And it means that you are then in contact with any things that come through, whereby you're sitting in the canteen. What will I do this summer? Oh, there's something in Sri Lanka. Let's go. You know, these are really, really exciting things to be part of. And the emails will come into your account to let you know these are happening. Okay, why should people volunteer? Why should students volunteer? I suppose primarily it's very simple. Fully functioning democracies and societies need everybody participating in decision making. They in particular need student voice, your voice. You need to input and to impact the organisations that are functioning in your society to create the kind of society you want to be part of. So that's number 1. Number 2, through your college course here, you're engaging in new knowledge, skill development, competency development, and this is enhanced hugely by the opportunity to go and try things out, real live learning. When you graduate with your parchment, what differentiates you from somebody else? You've experienced, you've tried it, you've actually run a St. Vincent de Paul fundraising initiative, you've run a fashion show, you've taken a yoga class, you've coached a team. All of these things stand volumes when you see somebody's CV applying for a job. It means that you're different. You've shown initiative. You haven't been forced to do it. You've actually taken the initiative to do something extra to make you enhance your competencies going out to the world of work, literally. So that's the second thing. The third thing, when you're in college, it's so important to connect with the environment you're learning in and also with the environment you're living in, where you live, learn and play, literally to connect with other organisations that can support you to develop holistically, to develop connectivity with people, other people, not just your peer group all the time, but other people, intergenerational exchanges, which are hugely significant in your development as a student here in the ITT. That's another reason. And I could keep going on with reasons, but I'm going to just take 2 more. Social support. Friends, generating friends outside of your peer group, where you can talk about things to people. You have that level of support and connectivity, which keeps you grounded in college as well. And also, finally, the feel-good factor. When you do something good for somebody, you feel good yourself. You know, and we all need to feel good about things. And it's a very, very simple step to take to do that. So that's the why of why we're here today, why we're encouraging and supporting student volunteering. I suppose I'm reminded of something that someone sent to me through Facebook during yes, I use Facebook too, Facebook during the week. And it's oft used, and I won't use it again, corny for those who are used to hearing it. But I suppose volunteers, they're not paid, not because they're worthless, it's because they're absolutely priceless. And they're essential in fully fledged, healthy communities. So I would encourage you to go out there and register once you leave the session today. That's me. I'm now going to call on Dr. Oliver Murphy, President of the Institute, to introduce our esteemed guest, Joanne, today. Thanks, Oliver.
Thanks, Adele. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. We are holding our annual volunteer fair in the North Campus today, and I think it is most apt that we are launching this web portal on the same day. This web-based portal, studentvolunteer.ie, is a very significant development, and it will facilitate a significant expansion of activities and engagement between the organisations we're currently dealing with and with our students. Just to put it in context, the Institute has a very proud track record in student civic engagement and volunteering activities. And in 2010, we surveyed our students, and the survey determined that approximately 60% of our students engage in voluntary activity for an average of 3 hours per week. That's quite a huge volume of activity undertaken, and we're very proud of our students for being so generous with their time to assist voluntary groups. And as I said, the launch of this portal will significantly enable us to, and enable the students to enhance their activities. Now, all this level of engagement, it doesn't just happen by accident, and I would like to thank all the staff who have, promoted volunteerism and civic engagement within the Institute over the years. And I know it's not appropriate to pick any one person out, but I will, having said that, and I would like to acknowledge the outstanding work done by Idel Randalls over the years, who has pioneered this whole area here with the Institute, and I'd just like to, at this event, publicly acknowledge that, Idel. We're indeed very fortunate to have a calibre of guest speaker such as Joanne O Riordan here today, just to focus in on some of her achievements, which are just outstanding when you think of it. In 2012, Joanne won the Rehab Young Person of the Year award. She delivered a keynote speech to the United Nations, and she has just recently returned from Japan, where she was awarded the Junior Chamber International Outstanding Young Person of the World award. I should go into politics because you received over half the 26,000 online votes that were cast, and you also secured the judges' votes for that prestigious award. And just to put it in context, the previous winners of this award were John F. Kennedy and Henry Kissinger. So it puts it in an international context. So an outstanding achievement, and combined with all that, she's a student as well. So I don't know how you do it all. You're a student below in UCC, and you are the recipient of the Quercus Active Citizenship Scholarship below in UCC, and you're studying criminology, which adds context to the work that you're undertaking. So it is with great honour that I introduce Joanne, and over to your good self, Joanne.
I don't know where to stand, and I look like such a lost person right now. If I stand here, I'm staring directly at my mother, and I should be mortified. I'm just going to stand over here. Sorry to the cameraman who I just messed up there. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for inviting me here today. I am absolutely delighted to be here in IT Tralee. I was telling one of the girls in UCC, and she was saying that you're just grand, at least you're not going to CIT. So you're a step up. No, I only joke. I'm delighted to be here. I actually do know loads of people in IT Tralee, so I can't really moan about it. But yeah. So I'm going to get into it, because other than that I'll be rambling. And I think this is going over the auditorium, and I'm mortified. Oh, this auditorium. I thought it was the big auditorium. Now I get it. So as you can see, I was born without limbs. But my motto in life is no limbs, no limits. The disability I have is medically known as total amelia. And research studies show that I am only one of 7 people in the world living with the rare condition. So it's kind of cool. I never have a twin. When I was on Ray Darcy, you knew it was me, not like the Jack Nicholson stunt that he pulled. It was definitely going to be me. I'm delighted to say that I've never allowed my disability to ever hold me back. I'm continually striving to create a world that is inclusive, not just for able-bodied people, but for disabled people also. Disability, for the most part, is a hidden taboo in most countries, and I've been extremely lucky to grow up in a family with 3 older brothers and 1 older sister who simply adored me. And by adored, I mean threw me into chandeliers and broke my tooth. That's what adored is in our family. And when you come back from Japan with your big award, go, huh, looks like you got the credit union. That's what adored means. This combined with my parents have instilled a passion and belief within me that every life is important and each person is unique. I was born on the 24th of April 1996. I'm a Taurus. I'm such an astrology hoe. Can't say that. Whoops. My parents, Anne and Joe, were informed 9 weeks before I was born that I would be delivered the way that I am today. There is no medical reason as to why it happened, and while I may be only one of 7 people in the world, for the past 19 years I've managed to carve out a path in life that is both socially inclusive and educationally rewarding. Being born with no limbs is often perceived by others to be a severely debilitating condition. I can safely say that this was certainly the case by some of the doctors who first saw me. Looking back on it now, it's hard to imagine that my parents had no one to turn to or ask for guidance or advice on what they could do to help me. We lived in a small rural area in northwest Cork known as Cale Durnagree. It's tiny, it makes Tarbert look big. I don't know why I just picked on Tarbert. Tarbert's actually a nice old spot. It was a modest house, but certainly not suitable for someone in my condition. Still, my parents did what they could do to help me. They, just like me, had to adapt to an environment that was pretty much unknown and untested. There was no right or wrong in what they were doing. They just simply had to get up and get on with it. The support they gave me was a quality of life that was for the most part inconceivable to everyone else. In August '96, my parents took me to the UK as they were told of a girl called Tina Stark, who was also born the same as me. Tina was 12 years old at the time, and my parents decided to visit her and her family to get a better understanding of the future and what lay ahead. Easy to know is the 90s, like just show up at someone's house. Hi, I'm here. Here's my child, that's your child. Banter. This was the first time my parents ever ventured outside feckin' Duhallow, never mind Ireland. And what they were, little did they know they were going to South Africa and Japan. And what they were about to see would change their view of the world and me forever. Tina was a bright, bubbly, outgoing young girl, and my parents learned more from Tina's family than they had ever done from the medical professionals throughout Ireland. The Stark family provided my family and I a lifeline. They gave my mother a tape of Tina when she was a baby, and with this tape, my parents were able to show all those working within the health service the endless possibilities of what I could achieve in my life. As time went by, my family taught me how to move and roll. I would shake, rattle and roll across the living room, throwing my bottom in the air, the 90s version of twerking, using whatever lent on my shoulders to travel left and right. At this stage, I almost perfected a form of breakdancing, or the worm, so I looked pretty cool back in the day. My mother says that they spent hours on day teaching me how to roll. So my family is very competitive, for example, so in order to get me to move my booty across that floor, they would place a sweet in the middle of the floor, and my father, who's a big man, loves his sweets, would lie in one corner, I'd lie on the other corner, and we'd both roll to the sweet, and whoever got there first got the sweet. So I don't know, it was like 90s Hunger Games or something. There was death involved, but we lived to tell the tale. It is still something that I value to this day, as it was another form of independence. And even though tiny in the grand scheme of things, for me it was a way of knowing that whatever the odds were, and no matter how big the barrier was, I could do something to make the quality of life that bit better. I was so going to point out Linda there, but now I still will. Easy to know Linda's a Mill Street one, she'll just show up late, like it's a Mill Street thing. Just chilling. Never once to give up, the next step or idea my family had was to get me walking. Over the next few months, my mother and father, brothers and sister, sat me down on the floor or the dining room table, encouraging me how to balance. Then I started to move slightly until eventually I could do it on my own. Needless to say, there were many times where I fell and cried, but after a long, or my brothers pushing me over, because apparently I looked funny while falling. It was a slow motion fall, which they enjoyed thoroughly. But after a long, difficult struggle, I, like so many others out there, finally took my first step. It was the start of a new beginning. It was a step in the right direction and a step to improving my life for the better. My brother Stephen told me that it was the most exciting thing that they had ever seen. He hasn't seen much, he doesn't go out much. So that was his most exciting thing. It is hard to imagine that within this short period of time I had achieved so much. And I think for someone with no limbs, it is an incredible pleasure for my family's wish and dream to see me walk come true. It is hard to imagine that within this short period of time I had achieved so much, but still some of life's greatest challenges lay ahead of me. Time and time again, my family have been there supporting me. The challenges I face get far greater each and every day. This again led to rehab in Ireland, making a swivel walker, as they thought it would help me further. The swivel allowed me to rock side to side, move forwards and backwards, and only turning slightly. The problem with this was that I could not go outside on my own, and once again I became restricted. Then one day, my family sat down in front of our old computer, and before long I was banging away on it with my chin, nose, and what I like to call my left hand. I played games that helped me to learn my ABC and small words. Easy to Know was one of those 90s fat heifer computers that all you could do was probably wait 20 minutes to get A, B. And my brothers and sister were eventually sick of hearing dog, dog, T-O-G. Curious as any person, I then began to explore other ways and means of expressing myself. And just after my second birthday, I was given my first car, or as you may like to call it, a wheelchair. And we went to South Africa and they called it my Rolls Royce, and it looked like a grand thing. And then we came back to Cork and the guy came in, "Ma'am, your scooter is available." So I went from a Rolls Royce to a scooter. I don't know how I felt about it. This was the key that unlocked my true independence. Because let's face it, life is about living, and we all want to live a quality of life that is acceptable to all of us. Nobody could have ever imagined how it would be possible for me to drive this car, but I did. In August '98, my first set of wheels arrived home, and before long I was whizzing in and out of the house without a care in the world. I had my legs, and I now had my freedom. I could go left, right, stop, swing around, moving forwards and backwards. I swerved in and out of the doors, taking lots of walls with me, the kitchen and the living room garden. My car has allowed me to run, walk, and achieve all things otherwise deemed impossible. It even has a horn to let people know that I'm coming by. This is the most exciting part of my speech. And it also has lights, another exciting part of my speech. If you can't see it in the back, I will show it later. It's exciting. Nobody ever expected me to drive it, but with the skills I gained from beating my siblings at PlayStation, I was a natural on the road. And yes, I do beat my siblings at the PlayStation. It gives me a great achievement. Just last week, I played ice hockey with one of my eldest brothers, and there's a part where you can brawl in the middle of it, and we brawled in the middle of it, and I beat his ass. It was great. I broke his nose on the game, not in real life. He wanted to break my nose then. It is safe to say that technology has played an enormous part in my life. It has allowed me to express myself in a way that has opened up so many doors with endless opportunities. I use technology in every aspect of my life, be it at home, in school, or going about my daily life. I, like every other teenager, can send texts, tweets, update my Facebook, Snapchat, the usual, banter, or simply call my friends, and I do this by using my upper and bottom lip, chin, nose, and my left hand. I do the same when I play my PlayStation, Nintendo DS. I'm a Mario Kart fan. I will beat your ass. I'm a PlayStation. I'm FIFA fan. I will beat your ass. iPad, and laptop. There's always a guy sitting there going, "Oh, I'll beat her now. I'm a man. I can beat her any day." The use of my car and the use of my old computer enabled me to figure out what I could do. At this time in my life, I know no limits. When I was younger, I even had parallel bars made for me. This idea came about one day as my mother saw me using my hands to grab hold and move myself along the high chair. I thought I was going all the way in the Olympics to the Olympics in the parallel bars. I thought I was that great. I wasn't. Simple as it may seem, this allowed my mother to know if they could get something made which was longer, it would give me the chance to explore my potential beyond expectation. It is safe to say that she was right, because let's face it, mothers are always right. Sometimes. Very rarely, more than anything else. I do things in my life that any other able-bodied person can do with their use of their limbs. If I fail, I try and try again. If I fall, I get back up until eventually I succeed, because my motto in life is no limbs, no limits. For me, it never matters how long it takes to get there. All that matters is that I try again. This has been the attitude of my family, and I have been extremely lucky to have them in my life. They even moved house and built a new one, all to make my life much easier. They were the ones who adapted the windows, the doors, the lights, the TV, and even the bathroom to make my life better. Even though when I went to Japan, all our stuff at home seemed like trash. Guys, if you ever get to go to Japan, go to it. Just for the simple fact that the toilets wipe your ass. Okay? Just for that alone, just go for that. And there's vending machines at every corner of the street that dispenses tea. Okay? That's what you need in life. Through my family, I have seen how we can all change the future for the better if we work together. Through them, I realised that no matter how bad, tough or cruel life gets, that there is always a time where you can get back up and try again. They have done this in my education, they have done this in my local community, and they have taken on battles with other people to ensure that I can have the best life possible. It is not a perfect life, but it is a life where I feel happy and content in myself. I can only imagine that if we all had this attitude, we could do so much, not just in our own lives, but that of others too. As someone who has a rare physical disability, and as someone who has seen the world through a different lens, all I can say is that without us all working together, we can never create a society whereby we live as equals. We will never be happy in who we are or what we do, because we will never understand the true meaning of life. Each and every day, people all over the world are doing things to change the lives of others. They are allowing people to see the endless possibilities of what it is like to live in a life where you feel equal. What we need to do is include these people in our world, as they are the ones who will enrich our lives, make us think bigger and better. They are the people like me who for the most part have been misjudged and misrepresented. They are the ones who allow you to do what I do in my life, think outside the box. I don't look at my life and see the word disability, I only see ability. I have been extremely lucky in my life that I've been allowed to express my thoughts, ideas, concerns and suggestions to anyone that I met. Just because I have no limbs does not mean I have no voice, thoughts or concepts. It does not mean I shouldn't be heard, and just because disabled does not mean we're not able. We are. We are all unique in our own way. I live each and every day by challenging myself to achieve the impossible. In December 2011, at the age of 15, I was propelled into the media spotlight in Ireland. Here, I had openly challenged the Irish government on a cut they were going to make to the disability payment in their 2011 Irish budget. The intended cut was reversed, and as a result, I became a hero to all those living with disabilities. This resulted in a massive shift in attitude towards people with disabilities, and as a consequence, I have become a voice for all people with disabilities. I welcome this with open arms, as it is my view that we should embrace any opportunity that comes our way. This allows us to achieve endless possibilities that not only enrich our lives, but for me, keeps people aware of what it's like to live with a disability. By April 2012, and on my 16th birthday, I was invited to United Nations in New York, where I delivered a landmark speech on how the world's leading women in technology, on how technology has transformed my life. And I was one of the first people in the United Nations to get a standing ovation. I thought I could use it in my human rights law exam yesterday. I was told by my lecturer I can't. And I also can't submit a picture of me at the UN to up my grade. So, seems useless to me now. For an able-bodied person, it would be pretty cool, but for someone with no limbs and who's about 2'6" in stature, I would say it is unbelievable and an amazing achievement to capture the imagination of the UN's top technology representatives, even though I can't use it in an international human rights law exam. But I'm not one to moan. Without it, I would not be doing and achieving the best I can be. Technology has allowed me to embrace the world with the full knowledge that, irrespective of my disability, I have the power to be the best that I can be. That same year in 2012, I was the recipient of the Rehab Young Person of the Year Award in Ireland for my outstanding contribution in highlighting the needs of people with disabilities. I have never shied away from the challenges I face, and each and every day I always try to do something that will test my ability even further. Life for me has no limits. I always say that the only obstacle in life is ourselves. In order to achieve the impossible, we must believe in the possible. It is not people with disabilities that are the problem, it is society's attitude that is the problem. Because as they say, the only disability in life is a bad attitude. In 2014, my life story was made into the documentary named No Limbs, No Limits, which was directed and produced by my brother Stephen, who's now running for politics. He's such a loser. While he always comes home with some exciting story. And we're all like, oh yeah, whatever, Stephen. So guess what I did today? While I never envisioned the enormous success it would be, I was always confident that Stephen would do a great job. Easy to know that was his one contribution to this entire speech was to praise himself. Typical politician. The documentary received its world premiere at the Cork Opera House to a sellout audience of over 1,000 people. This made it the largest world premiere of an Irish film or documentary to be held in Ireland. With over 200 hours of filming, a tight budget, it was so tight it was hilarious. Like Cillian Murphy probably had a bigger budget for The Wind That Shakes the Barley, and they had no budget as far as I know, but God, this budget was ridiculous. And a committed team, it was incredible to see my life story on the big screen. Since then, No Limbs, No Limits has gone on a nationwide cinema release throughout Ireland. It was also broadcast on RTE1 to over 433,000 viewers, which is pretty cool. I remember the night it got launched, I was out celebrating the end of Leaving Cert, and people in Killarney were like, but you were just on TV 5 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, that's life, kids. It has been distributed by Journeyman Films UK to over 16 countries worldwide, which includes South Africa, Australia, Nigeria, Spain, Germany, Poland and Kenya. To this date, the documentary has been seen by over 15 million people worldwide, so it's quite cool. Best of all, it has received critical praise both nationally and internationally for its honesty and sincerity, receiving rave reviews from all critics and winning the Documentary of the Year for 2014 with the RTE Guide. No IFTA, but feck the IFTAs, we're going for Oscar glory. On top of that, on the 24th of April 2014, and on my 18th birthday, I was invited to meet Michael D. Higgins in the Auras. What's way, way cooler than meeting the president and stuff like that was I went to Barcelona, huge FC Barcelona fan, judge me people. The people who are judging as well are Man United fans. You can't judge. Y'all are, you know the word that's coming after this. So my mother organised for me to meet the Barcelona team. And who is in the Barcelona team? None other than Lionel Messi. I have the picture. I will happily show it later. It literally is the best thing to ever happen to me. Feck the other awards. That's the one. I met the Messiah and God on Easter Sunday, and I'm not religious, but safe to say, you know, Jesus Christ rose that day. And for any other question, because the other question I get is, who's taller, Messi or the president? I think Messi's taller, but Michael D. Higgins thought it was cool. I'd one up on him, so I'm delighted. The next goal, anyways, after all of that, was to create a robot that would globally help people with disabilities to live a more fuller, independent life. My family thought I'd lost the plot, but they always do, but I can safely say I'm always thinking of the bigger picture. The United Nations donated over €50,000, and it started a process whereby I teamed up with Trinity College Dublin in Ireland to set about creating the ultimate dream robot. The project is called Robbie the Robot, and yes, Trinity College Dublin do have serious egos. It's great to bring them down a peg or two, as any Cork person can do, but they're grand lads in fairness, and shockingly enough, the engineers are quite good looking, so don't know why I expected, like, you know, whatever. Robbie has transfixed the technology world, leading to direct investments from public bodies, private companies and individuals alike. It won a Young Social Innovation Award in 2014, and it just went to Lisbon, and I think it won another award. It has a better life than I do, but that's typical, like the thing you create ends up being better than you. You know, it's like Frankenstein or something, I don't know. So the next steps for the robot, so what it can do is pick up stuff. So if I drop my phone or my pen or whatever, it can pick it up. It can go to the fridge to get me items, such as Kinder Eggs, actual loves of my life even, or picking up the remote control for a TV. The next steps are to give it more intelligence, so it can make the decisions for itself. So at the moment I can control it with my phone, but the idea is that it can go from room to room and know where it's going and not get lost and crash and die. So that's the basic thing. So it's still a distant dream and many, many years away, but with the determination of the engineers and myself, hopefully it will become a reality. As you can imagine, my life is practically scheduled down to every second. The circumference of the clock doesn't stretch enough for me, you know, for all my Netflix indulgences. But somehow I managed to squeeze everything in. I was delighted to secure and accept a place at University College Cork for my third level education in criminology. I feel very like I'm committing blasphemy laws whenever I mention another college in another college. Unless it's CIT, then I'm happily wearing a UCC hoodie, standing, repping, you know. I was offered a 4-year Corcus scholarship as part of my active citizenship throughout Ireland for people with disabilities. And hopefully next year I get to study abroad in University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League college, so I'm told. This little Corkonian, I'm just a small girl from Mill Street, you know. If not, I'll end up in Florida. You can all come over and visit me anyways, no problem. University life has brought me a wealth of freedom. This combined with hard work and success in my exams has opened up several opportunities for which I'm extremely grateful for. And whilst the mother here thinks I'm studying, which I so am, mom, it's still great crack anyways, and my housemate's a lunatic, so that's always a good sign. In November of 2014, I was also delighted to be appointed by the Irish government and Dr. James Riley to be a part of the Advisory Council for Young People. It is pretty cool. It's as exciting as watching grass grow sometimes. But it's still good, and here I offer guidance and solutions on what policies the Irish government should be focusing on when it comes to young people with disabilities. It has proven exciting and interesting, and as a result, the interest around my story is forever growing. I'm also delighted to say I won the JCI Top Outstanding Young Person of the World, or as I like to call it, Miss Universe, because that title is beyond ridiculous. I wish it was like an Olympic medal that I could carry around forever, but it's about a 12-kilo award that had to get drug checked in Heathrow. Yeah. The award has been given to the likes of JFK, Henry Kissinger, Jackie Chan, which is way cooler than the others, and even cooler than that is Elvis Presley. So yeah, my uncle hates me for life because he's an Elvis Presley diehard. He looks like Roy Keane, which is hilarious. And he sings Elvis, so you know, imagine Roy Keane singing Elvis. So I went to Japan just over a month ago and was delighted to accept the award, and will put forward the ideology of it is not the disability of a person, it is the ability of a person on a global scale. I'm also involved in a project in Killarney called the National Sports and Adventure Centre. The National Sports and Adventure Centre is a centre designed to bring able-bodied people and disabled-bodied people together by sports and recreation. As a matter of fact, the centre truly believes in abandoning the idea of disability and create an idea that we are born equal and create our own destiny in life. It's pretty cool. When it's built, you can go ziplining. Imagine ziplining in Killarney. Never thought that would come, would you? No. You've all heard, obviously, about Joanne O Riordan, and this one that does all this, that does all the cool stuff. But at the same time, I'm a 19-year-old girl who loves chilling with her friends, going into cardiac arrest, watching Barcelona and Cork GA games, and delighted to also formally announce that in March I was made an honorary member of Killarney Legion GA club. So screw the Crokes. Killarney Legion is where it's at. I hear a lot of, but you know, that's life, kids. I see talent in that team. I'm the only one that sees talent in that team. Even my dad is like, give up, give up. I'm also a fan of Borussia Dortmund as well as being a Barcelona fan. And I actually met the German team when they came to Ireland. So yeah, it was pretty cool meeting Bastian Schweinsteiger. He is the love of my life. It's such a pity he plays at United. Like, Bastian, what are you doing, lad? Don't go to the dark side, my friend. Yeah. If you haven't noticed, sport is a humongous part of my life. Dinner time talk consists of, could you imagine if I became the first person in a wheelchair to guide a team to glory? Which my dad says, yeah, at least you're dreaming here than in paid. But in my eyes, I am the Pep Guardiola of GA. Used to be the Jose Mourinho, but we all saw what happened to him. Nobody wants to be that. As you can imagine, I do not look at the obstacle. I always look at how we overcome it. The lives we lead depend on our social and working environment. As I said earlier, there are 1.3 billion people living with disabilities. And I want to begin the process of allowing each and every one of them to feel proud and to be proud of who they are and where they come from. The society I want to live in should be a fairer, more equal society that not only values the importance of economics, but embraces social inclusion. Today you welcome me here, and I hope that each and every one of you bounces out of this room not only feeling a little taller or a little lighter, but proud. Proud of who you are, proud of where you come from, and proud of what you have achieved in your own lives. Unless you're a Crokes fan, you're not proud of anything there. I am going to get actually attacked, probably. And if the Legion don't win on Sunday, I'm actually going to go into reclusive. You'll never see me again. Don't ever give up. Don't ever feel like you don't matter or count. The day you do feel like this, just remember that is the day you achieve the impossible. As German goalkeeper Manuel Neuer once said, who even on his knees is still taller than me, accept the useful, reject the useless, and add a little something of your own. Thanks very much for having me today. I have no idea if there's questions later. I'll happily answer them. Don't go shy, because that's the most awkward part. Thanks very much for having me here today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Joanne. That was absolutely inspirational. And I'd say at first, I've never heard or seen a standing ovation in this lecture theatre or in any lecture theatre in IGT. So well done there. You've brought everybody to the fore. You're amazing. You know, what's said, I could stay and listen here all day. Most definitely beats what I have to do later on as well. But and on behalf of everybody here, like, you know, your resilience, your capacity, you're just the most perfect person to launch this database. And I'm glad we waited till you finished your exams and stuff, and you were able to come down here and do it. So it's absolutely fantastic. I know everybody will have questions for you, but what we might do is just launch the database now and take a Q&A afterwards. Yep. So we'll just do this. So just as a feel for what the database looks like, and it just goes through for a little bit, and we will we can open to the floor for some questions for Joanne. I'm sure you have some.
Fail.
Go first. Hi Joanne, you're totally fearless. I love listening to you. Are you always like that? Do you ever just kind of go, are you ever, like, what are you afraid of?
After the county final, I went into a reclusive state. I can tell when South Kerry won, I literally just disappeared. Am I afraid of anything? I'm afraid of birds, spiders, the usual. Cried in I'm a Celebrity when she ate the spider, you know. Cried for her, not for the spider. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think of anything. Whenever someone.
That's really cool though, because I was saying, just be afraid of something. The birds, yeah.
Birds, does that do it? Okay. Yeah, don't ever bring a bird near me. I would probably actually cry. Yeah, I was walking up UCC for my exam and a bird crossed in front of me, and I would have missed the exam, no problem, but I wasn't going to pass the bird. So yeah, I think it was actually, I don't know, one of the Kerry miners rescued me. He'd shoot it away. I don't know who it was. Oh, guys. Yep.
Hi John. You've done a lot of travelling in the last few years, it sounds like. What was the accessibility like in other countries compared to Ireland? Like, did you see a big difference?
I suppose, first of all, like Japan is I suppose where I went first, and it's pretty cool because although when we went over we thought we wouldn't see anyone in a wheelchair or whatnot, we saw loads of people in wheelchairs, and I can tell you their wheelchairs are so freaking cool. Honestly, it's easy to know they're like Asian made because they're so modernly forward. And then in South Africa, obviously, it's complete poverty and complete different. But we stayed in Sun City, and there was accessible taxis going every all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So that was pretty cool. They were all very helpful. They were all very helpful with the chair. I suppose the Japanese thought they could lift the chair because their chairs are lighter, and the Japanese are like 4 foot nothing with like 2 kilos on them, and this chair is 120 kilos, you know. So, but no, like they're all very helpful, and they go out of your way to do anything for you. So the accessibility is good in some places, and then it depends on where you go, like everything. So.
What do you hope to do when you graduate? What plans have you?
I'm hoping to do either crime and media or sports and media. So I'm hoping to do journalism after. So you'll either see me reporting on a crime scene, not very Theresa Mannion style, but or else you'll see me at a sports stadium. Again, hopefully not Theresa Mannion style where I'm blown away. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do after is journalism. After, hopefully.
Joanne, do you find since you were saying you said you were launched a few years ago, so since you're more out in the public now, are people more comfortable with you? Do you see a change in how people, when they meet you, are they, I don't know, were people awkward before, did they make it now, or did you know?
People are still awkward, like, people still fumble, like, my housemate, like, I mean, I know her with a year, but we didn't know each other well until we moved in together, and I remember the first day, I was like, oh, can you get me a can of Coke there? And she was proper fumbling with the can, and I was like, just put the feckin' thing down with you. But now, like, she knows, and no, I find that people, like, are, like, I suppose they see Joanne, not the girl with the no limbs and whatnot, and, like, people love talking just absolute randomness, like, about absolutely anything, and, I mean, I don't mind, I love it. I suppose my only, like, boundary is with old people who, like, really elderly, who have no sense of, like, space, like, spatial awareness, so they'll come in and give you a hug and a kiss, and you're like, bangled. Like, if it was a hot GA player, grand, but it's not. It's someone who's like with their false teeth, and you're like, oh god, it's gonna fall out of my face. But no, like people are very like open, people are very welcoming, people are very excited. I think like sometimes it's funny when people invite me places and they forget that there's like say steps in an area. And you could see their mortification going from like, it went from 0 to 100 real quick, But no, like people are very happy, people are very welcome to having me. And no, I love it, I love going out meeting people, and this is kind of what I enjoy doing, just having the crack and going out meeting people, yeah. Yep.
Joanne, you have a fabulous personality, and I can see how your personality will totally outshine your disability, because when people get to know you, they can see the person and not the disability. I wonder, do you come across any negative feedback ever? I can imagine, like, with your personality and how you're so jokey and everything, that people will always warm to you and like you. Do people ever challenge what you're about, or do you ever get any negative feedback?
No, not really. I suppose what they challenge is probably who I support, like in team-wise, more than anything else. Like that's where the barrier goes. No one. I suppose no one really challenges you. I suppose you hear you see like political people who would challenge maybe your views more than anything else, but at the end of the day, what do they know? No one, I suppose, I don't know, like the quote that the lads in ministry have for me is, oh, you'd always hear Joanne before you see her, because my laugh is so loud and obnoxious. But no, I've never experienced any like negative feedback. It's really funny, like Stephen, when he does the campaigning going around to the doors, like they answer and he's like, oh, I'm Stephen O Riordan, and they hand him the leaf and they're like, sorry no, but why isn't Joanne running? So I suppose he's the only one that encounters the negative feedback. That's my mom. Shout out to my mama. Oh yeah, but that was criticizing Stephen, not me.
No, they were saying how that I think what they were actually saying was that the documentary should have been all of us falling down crying, Joanne inside in the corner, like they didn't see this. You know, we were like, it's on us.
They wanted to. They thought we were sugarcoating it,
Yeah.
putting it nicely. They thought it was like a nicer version of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which they didn't expect going, but it was like, what? No, that was it.
That was kind of the only.
Nice to bring that to my attention, Mother.
No, it's just something because I just thought like, well, what did they wanting like that? Like, they want the complete opposite of what we
Oh.
were doing.
Bit the mic. Yeah, that was probably the only thing. Now that she mentions it, yeah, now that I remember that.
It just sticks in my mind all the time because I'm just thinking like, that wasn't us. You know, and why would you portray yourself just to suit somebody else? You know?
It's more reflection on them than anything else, let's be honest here. Anyone else?
Yeah, Steve, Students' Union.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
What are you in the Students' Union?
Why?
What are you
Oh,
doing?
education.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm actually in the middle of exam success week.
You're the Joe of our...
Joe.
Yeah, you're the Joe of IT Tralee.
Yeah. So this is week 12, we're the last week, and I suppose students are a bit stressed, and I suppose they're kind of a bit down, and money is running tight. What would your message be to students going forward or going home for Christmas, as they have exams after Christmas? So what would your message be?
Yeah, that's terrible. That's so depressing. Oh my god, how do you live? That was really upbeat, wasn't it? No, I suppose like everything in life, you just have to get up and get on with it. Like that's what you have to face. And I mean, if you don't like it, stand up for yourself. I mean, that's what the Students' Union is there for. If you have an issue, go to the Students' Union. So you know, if you're not happy with anything, like the exams, for example, go challenge the union. But I suppose that's it for you at the moment. So the idea is to get up and get on with it. I would say put the heads down and study, but that's very hypocritical of me, considering I'm done and I'm like going out over Christmas and content. But at the end of the day, I suppose keep the heads down and be confident in your own abilities more than anything else. I mean, I know myself and I know what everyone. I mean, going to an exam, you may think you don't know, but like as my English teacher says, you know more than what you think you know. Very complicated. But just believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities, and believe that you will go with that A. I mean, before exams, I was telling my housemate, she freaks out over everything. So I was telling her, well, I freak out over everything, she freaks out over exams, I'm the drama queen. I was telling her that she should watch Conor McGregor interviews to get her a self of like, oh, I could do it, I'm a man, I'm good at this, whatever. Because I found before exams, I watched Zlatan Ibrahimovic interviews where he was saying that he's the god. And I thought then I was the god, and I went to the exams all cocky and confident, and it came out better as if then instead of stressing and being nervous with it. So that's probably my idea. Just be 100% motivated by yourself, and you know more than what you think you know. So believe in yourself and just go for it, and you never know what could happen. Is that okay, Joe? You're not Joe. What am I talking about? Steve. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi John, first of all, thanks so much. We are going to, as you said, bounce out of the room. I think kind of a newfound enthusiasm after being able to listen to you. You kind of mentioned like we need to change society's attitude and we need to think outside the box. In terms of all the work you've done and what you've planned in the next while, what's the one big thing you would like to see changed in terms of a more inclusive society?
Oh, it's like really simple stuff, like steps going into places, cars parking on footpaths, like we're all guilty doing it. I 100% understand. You abandon the car, I'll just be 5 minutes. You meet your neighbour talks for 40 minutes. And yet there's some poor elderly person waiting behind your car going, oh my god, pass. But it's literally just really small things like that we have to change. Like, I think there was a survey done ages ago and people found, and rightly so, I think racism more annoying than parking in a wheelchair space. So like that's kind of how you judge it. So I think it's more like a portrayal on media. If awareness was given about all this kind of stuff, like it is with racism, like it is with everything else, I suppose people would have more of a knowledge about it. People have more of a knowledge about things that are portrayed, and that's why they feel ashamed of it, like that. Whereas if you say post stuff like, I don't know, I think was it John Terry? He parked in a wheelchair spot. I think it was John Terry. John Terry parks in a lot of spots he shouldn't be in. But you know, I mean, like John Terry did it, so I can do it, you know, and he got away with it, that kind of thing. But you know, I mean, if that attitude was completely changed, I think he apologised after, but he apologised for a lot of things too after. But you know, just small things like that, I suppose. It's just more if an awareness was created, like, you know, look, it's fine you park in a wheelchair space, but someone in a wheelchair who can't maybe, you know, fit into the tight spaces can't get out and you know, do it. So I remember like ages ago, me and my mother, I was laughing at this because it's so funny. But we used to park the wheelchair space in Mid Street's outside the Garda Barracks, okay? But you think, you know, it's such a safe place, no one's going to park there, right? You know, Garda Barracks, everyone parks there, okay? But one morning, Anne knows where this is going, one morning, my SNA was waiting for us by the wheelchair space, and this guy parked in there, and he's missing, is it 3 fingers he's missing? No, he's missing his middle finger, which is the most, yeah, he's missing the middle one, which is the funny part of the story. So Eileen went over and was like, oh, you can't park here, Joanne's going to be here in a minute, you know, move. And he was like, yeah, but I can park here, I'm missing my 2 fingers. I have a disabled pass, you know, which is like Celtic Tiger, they gave out for everything. And she was like arguing with him, and he put up the middle finger, which was a non-existent middle finger. So that's what I always think of whenever I think of people parking in wheelchair spots. But yeah, so yeah. Don't park in wheelchair spots, I will get really mad. And also, if you're putting out your damn wheelie bin, don't put it in the middle of the footpath. The council will get to you. Don't worry. Don't freak out. It will get to you even if the bin is inside your gate a small bit. Just allow, and it's not even just for me. Elderly people, people with the buggies, you know, the double-decker buggies going on these days. It's for everyone. It's not just for me. I'm not bitching because I'm a drama queen. It's for everyone. That was a rant more than anything else. I apologize. Anyone else? The students are really quiet, like they're really young people. Like, ask me questions here. I'm here for you guys.
You're doing pints, cocktails, or shots?
This is a question that got me in trouble. I do Jaeger bombs. Spot on, lad. That's the type of question I want to see. Come on here. Why? What do you drink? Talk to me. Pints. You're such a lad, aren't you? Dirty foot boy right there. That's why nobody asks me questions, I shave them. Anyone else? Yeah. I will shame you, I promise. As the class kids too cool for this?
I think you've bamboozled people so much. Where to start?
The one guy that asked, I shamed.
There you are. Joanne, thanks again for your, as I said, we bound out of here most definitely. Everybody well, we've taken so much from your session. You're inspirational, absolutely. And also for your advice on exam preparation, I think as well.